Good to have you, Mr. Massey. All right, I think we just got a quorum there, so sorry we're running a few minutes late. We're going to call this meeting to order, and Mr. Secretary, please call roll.
Representative Blanton, Representative Dossett, Representative Duplessis, Representative Freeland,
Here in the room.
Representative Fugit,
Here in the room.
Representative Gentry, Representative Gooch, Representative Hart,
Here in the room.
Representative Cook,
Here in the room.
Representative Lewis, Representative Maddox, Representative Massey,
Here in the room.
Representative Minter,
Here in the room.
Representative Sharp, Representative Stevenson, Representative Tackett Lafferty, Representative Wesley,
Here in the room.
Representative Wheatley,
Here.
Representative McCool,
Here.
Chair Thomas.
Present. I think we squeaked out a quorum now. All righty. Well, we are so happy to have everyone here today. We are going to start, in fact, Jonathan White, would you come to the center table maybe? And George and Will, if y'all want to join them on either side, come up to the center table and why don't you lead us in the pledge. Just remain standing. And if everyone else would, if y'all would remain standing, and Brother Fugit's going to lead us in the prayer.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day that you give us, a brand new day, Lord, to serve you and, Lord, to just proclaim who you are. We thank you for this committee. We thank you for our chairman. We thank you for those that serve on the committee. And Lord, I pray that you'd help us to have wisdom to do things that would be a help to our veterans and those that protect us on the streets and even in far countries, Lord. I pray for the turmoil in our world today, that you would bring peace to that, Lord. And I pray that you'd bless our country, bless our state, and help us, Lord, to please you with our lives. Lord, help us to live every day to please you and to make a difference in somebody else's life. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. All right, wait. Y'all three stay at the table. Just have a seat if y'all would like there. Alrighty, I believe one out of these three people don't know what's going on yet, but the other two do, and they helped me do this. So, gentlemen, we always honor a distinguished veteran, and we found one amongst you, and so we wanted to honor Colonel Jonathan White today, and so that's why you're sitting at the table. Yeah, you knew there was a reason you had to come up a little early this day. They were supposed to be here at 11 o'clock, but we brought them in a little early. So we're honored to have you and all three of y'all. You have an extensive military background, and we appreciate all your service there. But what I'd like to hear, these three guys, along with Genesis Express, just wonderful things in our Cadiz community down in Trigg County. And for that purpose, I'm going to let them each have about maybe 5-10 minutes or so if y'all want to kind of tell us about what you're doing. I know, George, you have a pretty in-depth packet there, but we'll let Jonathan, we're honoring you. Either one if y'all want to do some of the talking, but Jonathan, why don't you start real quick with just a little bit of your military background, and then we'll roll into George and you can tell us about the projects y'all are working on. Jonathan, there is a button right on that microphone there. Just make sure it turns green there. And the floor is yours, sir.
Some of my background military.
If you'd like, just a synopsis, kind of what got you to Hopkinsville or Cadiz area. And,
Well, I'm proud to be a graduate of Murray State University, and it was one of my high school teachers that encouraged me to seek out ROTC once I got there. So as the Lord would bless me, I got into the ROTC program. I was there on a football scholarship, but ROTC was an opportunity for me to gain some leadership skills. And from there, I graduated with my master's in physical education with a minor in history. And unfortunately, at that time when I graduated, there was still a war going on, which I was really uncertain about. But I knew if I had to go, I would go. But I stayed and got a master's degree in secondary education administration and entered the Army in May of 1973. So I was blessed to do 30 years. So around June of 2003, I retired with 30 years. George Radford, my college roommate, had an organization going in Cadiz called Genesis Express, and asked me if I would consider coming there to join and help them work in the community of Cadiz, trying to make Cadiz a better place to live and grow. And our focus is on helping the needy, helping the youth, and helping senior citizens. So I thought, what better use of my time than doing something worthwhile, doing something for someone other than myself. And so since I've been out of the Army, I've been designated as the organization's historian, which I like to videotape, I like to take photos, so I try to keep a record of everything we do, and some of these presentations that we've provided for you are because of the photos that I've taken. A wingman there. But yeah, we were roommates, and I married my best friend's sister, so we do have a solid team, and we've been married for over 20 years now. But in doing this at Cadiz, Kentucky, I'm a deacon and a Sunday school teacher, a director of finance in my church there, and Brother Willoyd here was doing that before he left. So when he moved to Hopkinsville, I picked up his duties, and his dad was my mentor as the deacon of the church. So that's a little bit about my background, but I'm just excited about this new community center that we're trying to raise up. And George has been the front man on that, and I think he wants to talk about that a little bit, but I really appreciate everything that you all have done in surprising me with this honor. And I just look forward to whatever I can do to help anyone, especially our community.
Well, we are always so excited to see someone that had so much extensive background in the military and what great community leaders they are when they retire. And that's what we love. And you didn't really retire. You're a perfect example of why we've been pushing tax exempt for military pensions is you stayed in the state and gave back so much more to our state than we could have ever given you. So with that, we'll move in. George, you got a few minutes about your community center? Because I'm excited there's a roof on there. Just make sure you hit that green. Yeah, there you go. Go ahead, sir.
Well, good morning to everyone, and it's certainly a pleasure for us to be here. And I even met a few people that I've known from my previous life, which was education. I was in education for 31 years. All of those years were at Trigg County school system, except the last two when I was principal of Paducah Middle School, retired, and then started dedicating my time to this activity that we got going on in Cadiz. Back in 1987, I was still in the coaching business and had several athletes coming through the system, really good athletes, and of course, we always emphasize the academics, the whole, trying to develop that young man or young lady that was going to come back and contribute to the community, be taxpayers, be workers. This wasn't happening in our community, so we decided to do something about it. It was 7 other guys and myself got together and organized Genesis Express in 1987. And we just started as a little organization that was going to try to work with kids in sports, number one, at that particular time, and then help them with their academics so that if they were a Division I athlete, then they would be able to go on to college and perform. So we got started on working on some things. We were able to acquire a small building and started some of our programs like the after-school tutoring, summer reading camp, and we do several other things. We give scholarships each year. And we did this all on the fundraisers that we do by catering and doing barbecues on the first weekend of each month. And it calls for a lot of work. Well, we continued to do this, and people began to be interested in what we're doing, and people wanted their children in our programs. We ran out of space. And you could see from this that even our summer reading camp, when we get over 24 kids, we're cramped for space. So again, we wanted to do something about that. We wanted a larger facility to accommodate our programs. So we started working on coming up with the Intergenerational Center. And I just want to let you know that the part that Walker has played is that Walker found out what we were doing, and not only was he concerned and said, hey, good job, guys, keep up the good work, do what you do, he and his wife would visit. And they wouldn't visit and just stand around. They would get involved in working with our kids because they could see that these kids were hungry. Okay, number one, we always provided a snack for the kids when they get out of school, because a lot of the kids, we've got grades 1 through 5 now, but we were doing 1 through 6. They get lunch at 10:30 at the school system. So when 3:30 comes around, they're hungry. We provide a snack for them before, and then we give them something to take home, because a lot of the kids want to take something home to their little brothers and sisters because they didn't have anything to eat at home. But they were also hungry for love, attention, somebody to sit there and read to them or listen to them read. And these are some things Walker and his wife did while they're there, and we try to provide that all the time. We've reached the point where that people were interested in it. We had some people to donate sizable amounts of money to get us started. So we have a $1.2 million facility that's in the process of being built. We're about midway. We're still working on getting funds to allow us to get this complete and get it into action. Of course, we all, in our club, when we started this project in 2019, we all got together and decided that we were going to step out on faith, and that's faith in God, that we were going to do this, okay? And since we stepped out there, He's not failed us yet. And again, we're not here for any other reason to spend some time with Walker and let you know what we're doing, and just ask that you keep us in your minds and your thoughts, and not necessarily us, because the good Lord has blessed us and we're okay. The project we've got going on, we're going to try to make a change in the Trigg County area. We also work with Caldwell County. They've got a group called the Community Disciples. We help them get started. We also work with the pioneers out of Hopkinsville who got us started. So we're trying to make a change in our area that's going to be productive. And right now we have kids coming back to us, giving back. When we started our fundraiser, athletes from our track program, our basketball program, students, the former students I had, they came and brought money in. They came and said, Coach Radford, we got this for your program. So with support like that, I don't think we're going to fail. I think we're going to be okay. But bottom line is we've got a good thing going on in Trigg County. And again, all we ask you guys, just think about us, keep us in your thoughts and prayers. And when it comes to fruition, you're all welcome. When you come to Cadiz, look up Genesis Express, come by and see what we've done there, and hopefully we can influence somebody in another community. And let me mention this, that we do work with alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. Every session that we do, or any presentation we have with people, we take time to talk to them about alcohol, tobacco, and drugs. Because our kids in our community, which I feel like is going on in other communities, they're being affected by these choices that their parents are making. Now, anytime you smoke crack in the house with your child, you're making some bad decisions. We don't want our younger kids making those same decisions. So we're trying to train up that child right now and let them know if the parent's not going to do it, we'll help. We're glad to help. But that's what we want to do, is just try to make a difference in our community, maybe to spread to other communities, and especially our kids can pass it on to their children. But again, appreciate it. Sonny, you got any words?
No, I think you said it all.
Man, a few words there. Well, we do, all committee members, and I'm sorry, you'll see people duck in and out because we have committees all morning and stuff, so some of them serve on multiple committees. We want to thank y'all for there, and that was a good segue, having these two coaches and teachers here to introduce our kids from LaRue County or so. If y'all want to stand up for a sec, they're going to be paging for Brandon Reed later on in the house, so let's give them a round of applause.
Precious.
All righty. Well, at this time, I'm going to walk down with them because these are guests of my own, and got just a little presentation, and hopefully can someone grab a picture or something like that maybe? You got it? All right, thanks. up here, gentlemen.
See,
I'm not a spotlight guy.
you are now.
You're in it with us. There's nothing on behalf of our Veterans Military Affairs and the Public Protection Committee. We want to bestow this honor on you and give you that. Token of my appreciation also there. So we're glad to have you up here and come around here and let's see if we can get her to get us a picture. Fill back up these seats here. Thank you all for being here. All righty, let's get some bills moving here. Center, do you mind if we go ahead and let you? I think yours is the only one that might not have some changes to it, so we'll go ahead and do SB 189 if you're ready and you have any guest or anything like that. He's right in front of you. There you go. I'm sorry. His was less controversial there, or less different things. That's good. That's good. Senator Carpenter, we'll get to you in just a sec, though, but appreciate you holding the chair up for him. All righty, we're here in SB 189, and Senator, please introduce yourself for the record. You know, and your guests there, and you know about the green button, though, so
Yes,
please
sir.
proceed.
Thank you very much. I'm Steve Meredith. I'm State Senator for the 5th District, and I'm joined this morning by Bruce Roberts, who's the Deputy Executive Director for the Kentucky Fire Commission. And we're here today on behalf of volunteer fire districts. And if you live in a small community, represent rural communities like most of us do, you know how important this is. And very few of our cities, counties have the luxury of having paid fire departments, so we have to rely heavily on volunteer fire departments. And again, if you live in a small community, you know what's happened to volunteer fire departments over the last few years. As a matter of fact, it goes back almost 3 decades. We've seen a decline in volunteerism. You know, I grew up in a small community. I remember when our volunteer fire department was such a vital part of our community, and still is for the most part, but they're struggling in getting volunteers. And that's just, I think, reflective of change in society today. Fewer people are volunteering for anything. It's across the board. In our smaller communities, we used to rely heavily on small businesses to provide financial support for our volunteer fire departments, but also that was a source of that manpower. Most people, when that alarm went off that you had a fire, would leave your fields or leave your shop and go fight that fire. But now, because of the loss of jobs and more regionalization, folks are working further away from home, and we just don't have that possibility anymore. And we're seeing a massive decline in the number of volunteers. Also, the number of functioning volunteer fire departments. And what this bill simply does is many of you know, each fire district that's certified by our Kentucky Fire Commission gets $11,000 in financial assistance each and every year. And what we're asking, if we have as an incentive for fire departments to merge, that if they do merge, that $11,000 follows the department that has merged into another. And I've asked Mr. Roberts to be here today to talk about how important this is to our volunteer fire departments and to fire safety across the state. So, if you would.
Motion on the bill.
We have a motion and a second. You're welcome to proceed, or
I was always told to keep it quiet when a motion's made.
well,
All right,
we appreciate that, and we do have a question, though. Maybe you
Sure.
can help with the question, Representative Blanton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's not a question, it's more of a recommendation for the commissioner. I've mentioned this before, and knowing that recruiting is becoming more and more challenging for our volunteers, I would ask that the commission take a look at I believe it's under KAR, the regs on currently a individual who has a felony conviction cannot be a volunteer fireman.
Yes, sir.
But I would ask that y'all take a look at that reg, maybe pass that down locally to the volunteer fire department. They know the people in their community. I'm a believer in second chances. And if that person has proven themselves beyond, because there's a lot of different felonies. Not all of them are violent. Not all of them involve drugs. Let them take a look at that individual, see if they could be a vital part of that volunteer fire department, and if they choose to allow them to have that opportunity, and that might help in some gaining some more volunteer firemen as well. If y'all would take a look at that, I'd be much appreciative.
Okay, and definitely we will. I mean, that's a KAR. It states that, but we will definitely look at it and bring it to you all for get the change.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
you.
Mr. Chairman.
All right. Do we have any other members that have any questions or anything? If not, oh, wait. Go ahead.
First, I would like to thank our commissioner and our senator for bringing forth this bill. I live in a small district. We have over 800 fire departments in the state of Kentucky, and a little under 800 is all volunteers. And if we don't help our volunteers, we're not going to have fire departments. And one of my counties, we have 3 fire departments, but every one of them are volunteers, every one of them. And if they decide that they just want to walk, that leaves our county vulnerable. And so I just want to thank you for this bill.
Thank you. Any other members want to comment? I know this has been passionate about you for your 2 volunteer fire departments.
Yes, definitely. Just a comment.
Sure, go ahead.
I'm sorry I was late, but obviously we always appreciate our volunteers. A lot of folks don't realize that at home it takes 20 minutes to get anywhere. And, if it wasn't for our, just like Representative Wesley said, in my district, I think we have 2 paid fire departments and nearly 20 volunteer fire departments. And those volunteers, they help us keep our homeowners insurance affordable. Otherwise you would, and all these other contributions they make to our community. So we always appreciate the effort. Thank you very much.
All right. Any other comments or questions? If not, Mr. Secretary, please call roll.
Representative Blanton.
Aye.
Representative Dossett. Yes. Representative Duplessis. Representative Freeland.
Yes.
Representative Fugit.
Yes.
Representative Gentry.
Yes.
Representative Gooch. He's on Zoom.
Yes.
Thank you. Representative Hart.
Yes.
Representative Cook.
Yes.
Representative Lewis. Representative Maddox. Representative Massey.
Yes.
Representative McCool. Representative Minter.
Yes.
Representative Sharp.
Yes.
Representative Stevenson. Representative Tackett Lafferty.
Yes.
Representative Wesley.
Yes.
Representative Wheatley.
Yes.
Chair Thomas.
Aye. All right. I wish we had consent over here, but we'll hear it on the floor, and I'm sure it'll hopefully pass here too. So we appreciate y'all both being here. Do you want to hold the chair for Senator Carpenter now, or come on up, Senator Carpenter? We're going in reverse order.
There's a good chance of that. But Chairman, thank you for your time this morning. And
Thank you
committee
for
members
being.
appreciate your support.
Yes, sir.
And now we give you the other senator.
The other senator.
I may need to let you present for me now.
All righty. Y'all know the drill. Please introduce yourself and introduce your guests there, and make sure the green light's on.
Jared
And-
Carpenter, senator from Madison County and Fayette County, District 34. And my friend,
Brian O'Neill, the Legislative Director for the Kentucky Professional Firefighters.
I'll make my presentation brief, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
I think most people know what this bill is. One of my friends, a longtime coroner in Madison County, brought it to me just to try to protect accident scenes from people that come onto it that could be taking pictures for the wrong reasons. And Brian brought in a piece of information to me that we want to make sure we get corrected. And I think there's people on this committee that understand that. Representative Wheatley and I have talked. So we want to correct that so we don't penalize a fireman or somebody who does something accidentally. But the bill is basically to protect victims and also to protect the emergency responders, to make sure that information doesn't get leaked, and we don't have any bad folks that are trying to leak information to where somebody who has a death in a family, the information gets leaked before the family members are even notified. And so if Brian has any comments that he'd like to make, that'd be a great time.
So, yes, we want to make sure that it's clear that we're working together on this. We support this. This is a good bill, and this is not something that we want anybody taking part in. The concern for us is, unlike police officers that have a body camera that's been assigned to them, it's paid for by the department, it's a part of their official duties. Firefighters don't necessarily have that, but some firefighters might invest in a helmet camera, and especially in your smaller departments and your volunteer departments, it can be a great training tool. So after they get out of the fire, they can go back and see this and say, hey, how did that really go? Did I miss something? The way this is originally written, that helmet camera just capturing that image, if there is a deceased person or a victim, they would automatically be a criminal. So we just want to make sure that it clears that it has to be an intentional, there has to be some kind of criminal intent for this to happen, and also make sure that there is a due process for anyone that would commit this crime, so that, yeah, we can get the bad actors and get them out of there, and make sure that somebody that's working in good faith doesn't get punished.
All right, we do have a motion and a second, and it looks like we do have a question by one of our firefighters here, so go ahead.
It's not more question. You might want to explain to the committee about the floor amendment that Representative Wheatley's been working on, so that they clearly understand that that's going to be a floor amendment and not a committee sub.
Representative Wheatley, if you'd like to make that comment.
Sure. Thank you, Senator, and thank you for bringing this and working together on this, and thank you, Brian, also for helping work on the floor amendment. It's very simple. There are a total of, I think, 3 words we're adding, but it's some KRS notwithstanding, to make sure that we're taking care of a couple of things. So one, to make it intentional, intentional recording that is not in the line of official duties. And the other part of it is to make sure that we're following there's several KRS that deal with the discipline of peace officers, firefighters, EMS, and we're just going to notwithstand those, that make sure that we're in good shape with all of our due process parts of it. So that's the whole part.
And
of
I
the
think
amendment.
we kind of run out of time to try to do it in the committee, so he was going to do it in the floor, so we thought that'd be a cleaner process.
We will get that done and send it back over to y'all to approve there.
We'll take care of it.
This is how good bills get great.
We appreciate it.
So we appreciate y'all being here. Do we have any other questions or comments by any other members? If not, Mr. Secretary, please call roll.
Representative Blanton.
Aye.
Representative Dossett. Aye. Representative Duplessis. Representative Freeland.
Yes.
Representative Fugit.
Yes.
Representative Gentry.
Yes.
Representative Gooch.
Yes.
Thank you. Representative Hart.
Yes.
Representative Cook.
Yes.
Representative Lewis. Representative Maddox. Representative Massey.
Yes.
Representative McCool. Representative Minter.
Yes.
Representative Sharp.
Aye.
Representative Stevenson. Representative Tackett Lafferty. Yes. Representative Wesley.
Yes.
Representative Wheatley.
Yes, and thank you, Senator.
Chair Thomas.
Aye. All right, it'll pass. We appreciate both of y'all being here, and we'll get this all the way through the finish line, hopefully, for you. Thank you. All right, sorry, Representative Westrom, take the table, and if you have any guests, have them join you. If not, you're a solo act. Well, at this time, too, before you get started, as many of y'all know, Representative Westrom is not seeking re-election this fall, so this might be the last time she gets to grace us in committee here. So we're so glad, and thank you for how many years?
24.
24. Thank you for your service. Let's give her a round of applause there. Alrighty, and this is HB 106. There is a committee sub. Do you want us to adopt it? Do you want to explain it first and then adopt the sub? It's your show on that.
I would request you adopt it.
We have a motion and a second on the sub. I think many of y'all were provided last night on that. I know it was kind of last minute there, but hopefully she'll explain the sub and everything also. So all in favor of adopting the sub signify by stating aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, you have the sub in front of you.
Thank you so much. Well, I think this is a very important piece of legislation that I hope the members of this committee will keep their eyes and ears open, because people in our country are being scammed and they don't even realize it because they don't pay attention to the details, especially details of your credit card statement. And that's how most people find out they're being ripped off, and they don't know what to do about it. The genesis of this bill came when COVID hit us 2 years ago, and a man hand wrote me a letter saying that his wife was a member of a gym, and she went to work out and the doors were closed. And of course they were closed for a year and a half, but they billed her credit card for her membership. That really ticked me off. And that same year, I saw an advertisement for Bloomsy Box on television, and that's where you can send a beautiful bouquet of flowers for a specific period of time anywhere in the country. And I had a friend whose husband was dying of cancer, so I ordered 6 months of flowers to be delivered to her for 6 months. And 6 months after that, I received a bill for an additional 6 months of flowers that I did not order. That was during COVID. And then at the same time, I'm not going to drop names, but I did get a daily important media outlet piece of paper, and I ordered it via phone. And during the winter, I received a notice that my subscription was overdue. Well, I had just ordered a subscription for 1 year, so I called the office and said I did not renew the subscription. And it was customary for them to continue sending that media until you did pay or re-up your subscription. I thought that was a little bit outrageous, but they sent me a collection letter, and when I called the collection company, it happened to be in the building where this product was produced. So oftentimes when you make a phone call to get a subscription to something, they make the assumption that you're automatically resubscribing, and there's a punishment if you don't pay that. And I think it's time for our citizens to understand that that's not the way they need to be treated when they are consumers and order a product for a specific period of time. This is a pretty simple bill to read. The first section contains the definitions that are relevant to the bill, such as automatic renewal offer terms, clear and conspicuous, continuous service offer terms, material change, gift membership, purchase agreement, and subscription. This requires businesses to present automatic renewal or continuous service offers clearly and conspicuously to consumers before the purchase. It requires businesses to obtain the consumer's consent before charging the consumer. It requires businesses to provide consumers with an easy-to-use mechanism for cancellation. It requires businesses to provide users who purchase in one medium the opportunity to terminate in the same medium, including online termination. It requires businesses to provide a notice regarding term changes prior to implementation. It requires businesses to abide by the requirement before completion of the order, except that the acknowledgement may be fulfilled after an order completion, and notice of change must be fulfilled prior to the implementation. It requires a business to provide notification of the expiration of a subscription, and it prohibits a business from continuing to charge consumers after the completion of singular orders. This bill also provides that goods, wares, merchandise, or products sent to the consumer shall be considered an unconditional gift if the consent is not obtained by the business. It excludes an exemption, and that's where the amended bill was made. It excludes exemptions for banks, credit unions, savings association, consumer loan companies, and insurers. And that's because they automatically bill for something that you're paying over a long period of time. And then Section 6 is the section that it doesn't apply to any service provided by a business or its affiliate where either the business or its affiliate is operating pursuant to a franchise issued by a political subdivision of this state, a licensed franchise certificate or other authorization issued by the Public Service Commission. Oh, wait a minute, this is going to be presented on the chamber floor. That's an amendment. I'm sorry. Oh, the punishment for violating this, Section 6 provides that any business violating Sections 2, 3, 4, or 5 shall be fined $5,000 for each offense. However, it also provides that no civil penalty shall be enforced against a business that makes a good faith effort to comply with Sections 2, 3, 4, or 5. It's so important for us to keep our eyes open. And it's so hard for us to be pounded with so much information and pay attention to the small details that are written in such a tiny font, and then to understand what they're actually saying. So I think this is a good basis for protections for this type of service that we don't ask for, and request passage.
Motion on the bill?
All right, we do have a motion and a second. It looks like we do have maybe a question or comment from Representative Gentry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First question, how in the world do you deal with this place for 24 years?
Well, some people question my sanity, but it really has been such a life adventure, and I've met so many stunning, stunning people, including the three gentlemen that were sitting at this table. How blessed we are to have people in our world, in our community, that give back even when they're not paid to give back. And I understand the work that we do up here is perfectly not understandable to the general public. They have no concept of the hours and commitment and the passion that every one of us have deep within us that just seems to explode when we get in this position, hence the reason I stayed so long. But it's time to pass the baton. And there are many wonderful people that have great ideas, and I can't wait to see what we can do for the state of Kentucky in the future.
And if I would, Mr. Chair, for just make a couple of very brief comments.
Yeah, go ahead.
First of all, thank you for your 24 years of service. It's
You're welcome.
fantastic. And thank you for bringing this bill. I could give you a whole list of situations myself. I've been known to live in the fast lane a little bit. I've got a lot going on. I'm involved with a lot of things, and I'm making a lot of payments on things that I don't even know they're out there because I don't take the time to go through the three levels of hoops to stop a payment. And I can give you one very brief example. Many of you know rental car shortages that during COVID that in a lot of towns in the last year, 2 different times I have rented a rental car online and went to go pick it up and only to be told, well, we don't have a car. Even though we sold you one through a third party, and then trying to get that back without a credit, or it's crazy. And then you're talking to somebody from overseas that's contracted to do telecommunication work. It's I could interest you with all kinds of different stories like this. So thank you for bringing this, and that's all.
You're very welcome, and I think that just gives a baseline of why we have to be diligent up here, because life gets in the way. And just looking at the 3-point font on a credit card statement is difficult enough, let alone with all the numbers behind them, and you don't know what the meaning is behind that. It's just so hard to keep up with life, isn't it?
All right, are there any other members with any comments? And remember, Representative Westrom has said there is going to be a floor amendment on this. I think she's still working with some other groups. We'll, if the committee wants to keep moving this through the process, we'll see in just the votes here in a sec. So, Mr. Secretary, please call roll.
Representative Blanton.
Aye.
Representative Dossett. Yes. Representative Duplessis. Representative Freeland. Representative Fugit.
Yes.
Representative Gentry,
Yes.
Representative Gooch.
Yes.
Thank you. Representative Hart,
Yes.
Representative Cook,
Yes.
Representative Lewis, Representative Maddox, Representative Massey,
Yes.
Representative McCool,
Yes.
Representative Minter,
Yes.
Representative Sharp,
Aye.
Representative Stevenson, Representative Tackett Lafferty, Representative Wesley,
Yes.
Representative Wheatley.
Yes, briefly explained, been a pleasure to be on this bill for a couple years, and it's a consumer protection bill, and that's what we're trying to do. Thank you.
And Chair Thomas.
Hi. I think we might have missed Representative Freeland. Did you catch him? He's here.
Representative Freeland. Yep.
All right. Well, it passed. Representative McCool, I'm going to come to you in just a sec. So thank you for your service, and we appreciate 24 years. And I haven't had the pleasure of that serving that many with you. Let's see who up here. In fact, all of us are about 6 or under here. So, but we appreciate you being
You've
here.
got a long way to go. Thank you so much.
All righty. At this time, I'm going to see if Representative McCool would like to record 2 votes, one on SB 101.
Yes, Mr. Chair, could I vote yes on 101 and also House Bill 106?
Okay, you just did that at catch 189.
Okay, 189, I'm sorry.
That'll work.
Yeah.
All righty. I believe we have that. I'm going to turn it over to Representative Massey. He has just a quick announcement.
Really quick. Operation Honor had a groundbreaking this past Sunday for Patriots Landing. It's a facility that's going to be in Williamstown, Kentucky, that will allow veterans that are recovering from PTSD, et cetera, to work on projects that they will then sell and market those out into the communities. This has been a long time coming, but on the 26th of March, they're having an annual banquet, their first annual banquet, at Mount Olivet Christian Church in Williamstown, Kentucky, beginning at 6 p.m. And it's sponsored by Disabled Veterans of America, or DAV, and they will be there. And it says, come enjoy an evening celebrating our veterans, an evening filled with honor and respect, an evening to say thanks for the many blessings. There will be so much to experience, a silent auction, special guest speaker, and information about the grand opening of Patriots Landing in 2022. So Joe Montgomery is the guy that's started this and been behind this, and he was not able to be here today because of the schedule with the grand opening, or the groundbreaking rather, and this upcoming banquet. So he asked me to convey that to all of the members. I will send out a separate invitation to you, but he wanted you all to feel welcome to come on March 26th if your schedule permitted.
All right. Thank you. Did you want to send it all to us, or do you want to send it to Logan? He can get it out either way. Y'all work that out. So, all right. Is there any other further business? If not, we are adjourned.